If you're an international student abroad or you're a prospective international student abroad, then this video is for you. I'm going to be sharing all you need to know before you take up that hospitality role, that hospitality job abroad. I'm going to be using my experience as an international student while I was in the UK. So I want to believe that this experience would apply in other countries, although there might be slight differences. Okay, the disclaimer here is that I am not discouraging international students from taking up hospitality roles. After all, you have to make money and you have to, make do with the available jobs that you have. However, this video is just to inform you so that you get your mind prepared before you get into that hospitality role that you're currently applying for or that you're looking forward to applying for. It's going to help you make an informed decision so that before you enter, you already know what you're going to see. When you anticipate what you're going to see, when you are aware of what you're getting into, it helps you build your stamina, it helps you build your resistance level, and at least you'll be mentally prepared. Welcome back to this channel. My name is Kuskus if you are new here, and this is the Get Ahead community. Here I share information on everything study abroad for international students. Kindly join the Get Ahead family by subscribing and also liking this video. Also drop your comments, okay? What has been your experience so far? I'm sure that as I'm going to be sharing my experience, you will relate some of these examples or some of these scenarios. Let us also know your experience or the experience of somebody that you know so that it will help other people. Let's get right into this video. The first thing you need to note as an international student is that your work time is limited. You have a limit to how many hours you can work in a week. Depending on your country of studies, you would know exactly how many hours you should work based on the requirements of your visa. Generally, international students are usually given 20 hours of work time per week to do different types of work, and there are also specific jobs that you are not allowed to do as an international student depending on the country. I know that for UK you're not allowed to be an entrepreneur, that's set up your own business. You're not allowed to either work in sports. There are a few of other kinds of jobs that you're not allowed to do as an international student, and you should visit the UKVI website if you're in the UK or the relevant government website in order to check. Why am I making this point? I'm making this point because recently there was a post all over social media showing the UK government revoking a skilled worker visa already granted to a previous international student who studied in the UK. What was the reason for revocation of this visa? The reason was that the person was not being sincere, the person was deceitful in getting the skilled worker visa, because during the application the person was asked if he had breached any previous visa rules and the person said no, and later they discovered that the person had breached the student visa rules by working more than 20 hours per week. This is so sad because I could understand how hard this person must have worked to first get the skilled worker job that could sponsor the person's visa, apply for this visa, wait and get the positive outcome, only for the visa to be revoked. So you don't want this to be your portion, okay? Ensure that you stick to the approved work hours for international students, and do not also get into the type of job that you are not allowed to do as an international student. I know that recently Canada had announced that international students could work more than 20 hours between, I think, October and December. However, you should remember that that is limited to that particular time. Try to stick to your visa rules so that it will not haunt you later in the future. Now, for this video, I'm just going to share my experience of working in the hospitality industry. I know that when you are abroad as an international student, there are several ways you can get part-time jobs. Some could be in your university. You could get part-time work to work on campus, which is what I usually recommend. While I was in school, I was able to secure a part-time role with my university. That role was 15 hours per week, and I didn't have to leave school. I worked for school, and majority of the time it was virtual. The role was remote. Why I usually recommend that international students strive to work within campus or work for university is because the university understands that you are a student, and they will likely stick to your work hours more than any other employer because they are students and they understand your visa rules. They are more likely to respect your approved work hours. Also, when you work within school, especially if you're living within campus, you're going to save some time because you're not going to be commuting away from the campus. Not everybody would be able to get jobs within campus, and also because the jobs within campus are always time limited. It could be a 6 weeks rule, it could be a 1 month rule, it could be a 3 months rule, and you would definitely have to seek other employments, other part-time jobs outside the campus, which the most available is usually hospitality roles. Hospitality roles would include care jobs, working in restaurants, cafes, hotels, and all those kind of roles or similar roles in different capacities. You could be a waiter, you could be a porter, a host, cleaner, anything at all within the hospitality space. I remember my experience. I worked with a hospitality agency when I was studying in the UK, and they would show you the different available roles and you have to select whichever one you want. And when you indicate your interest that, oh, I'm interested in this role on the app, it will be left for the employer to either decide whether they want to take you for the role or not. Because I was working for an agency, it wasn't in one particular place. There were times I went to restaurants, there were times I went to hotels, there were times I went for events. God, making this video is just bringing a lot of memories back. Oh my goodness. Now, unlike office roles, professional roles, or the kind of role I did, because I was a global alumni volunteer officer for my university while I was studying, and I already said here that work was majorly virtual. I was just sitting on my desk and working with my computer. That is very different from hospitality role. Let me tell you, before you start that very first shift, what you have to know is that if you're working in hospitality, you will be standing majority of the time of your work. For instance, let's say you take an 8-hour shift in a day. Just be rest assured that majority of the time of that shift, you're going to be standing. Guys, this is not a joke. I remember my very first shift I took. It was a morning shift on Sunday morning, I can remember. And God so helped me that I choose a 4-hour shift for a host in a hotel. So I was a host in a hotel. I arrived, I think the shift was starting at 9. Was it 9 or 8 a.m.? But they'll tell you what time to arrive and what time you should start working. So I arrived, I signed in, looked for who was responsible for me, because whenever you arrive a particular workplace, you have to first let them know that, oh, I am from so and so agency, I am here for this particular position. You have to tell them what position you are in, because the job of a host is different from the job of a waiter, and it's different from the job of a porter. So if you go, you are supposed to be a host, and you go and just say, I'm from this agency, and you don't tell them what role you came for, they will just put you in any role that is available at all. So I went, I told them, I'm from so agency and I am here for a host role. And then there's always a dress code. I'm going to come to that much later. And then they'll be like, okay, I'm your manager, you're reporting to me, blah, 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 blah. When it's time for your break, they'll tell you all the rules. When it's time for your break, you come tell me, and then I'm going to be the one to approve the break. That was a hotel. Before now, I had never worked in a hospitality industry before. Guys, I'm a lawyer. I used to work in a law firm in Nigeria, and from law firm, I was an in-house counsel. So what is my business with hospitality? So when I got to the UK, I first did that my 15-hour work with uni. When that work finished, that work was like 2 months. When that work finished, I had to take hospitality roles because we need some money. So that's how, first of all, they took me and I started learning the table numbers. I did not even know before now that all these tables at restaurants had numbers. So you have to learn the table numbering immediately. Guy, I am just new. I don't know these things. And they expect that once they show you once or twice, you should be fine. As a host, what I usually do is I would stand at the entrance of the hotel. That's the entrance to the dining hall. Welcome people, welcome the guests that are coming for breakfast, and take them to the table. For instance, you will come, I'm going to ask you, hi, what is your room number? I will check and what is your name? I'll check on the list and confirm that you are residents in that room, and that your package, whether your package comes with breakfast or without breakfast. If it comes without breakfast, it means that you would have to pay extra, but if it comes with breakfast, then I will indicate. So that was my job. Stay at the door, tick the names of these people and indicate whether it's with or without breakfast, and then take them to a table. When I take them to a table, I will now go and meet a waiter for that particular area and tell them the information I received. I'll go and say, table 22, without breakfast, blah, 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 how many people? And then they'll take it and continue from there. That shift was 4 hours. It is God Almighty that saves me that day. Because the shift is 4 hours, you got no break. The shift that you would have at least 30 minutes break will start from, maybe if it is a 5 or 6 hour shift, or if it is an 8-hour shift, you are sure that you can have up to between 30 minutes and 1 hour break. But if it is a 4-hour shift or a 5-hour shift, you got no break. You gotta work. My people, that's how I will stand by that door. I didn't used to stand. Why am I standing? I didn't used to stand like that now. In fact, even taking walks, it was when I got to the UK, I started learning how to take walks up to 30 minutes, 1 hour walks. Walking is even still better than standing one place. So I stood by that door for 4 hours. You cannot do like this, oh. You cannot sit, oh. You cannot lean on the wall. You have to stand straight with your hands properly, either in front of you or behind you, both of your hands. You cannot put your hand by your waist. You cannot lean on the wall. You cannot bend. You can't do that. You have to be very professional, stand upright, watch the door that your guests are coming in through, and then you confirm the details. Oh, sometimes as I'm about to take the guests to the seats, confirming, some of them will come in a crowd. You're about to confirm, oh, what's your room number? What's your name? You confirm, you take them to the table. As they are coming back, there are a lot of people outside waiting for you or by the door waiting for you, and you have to hurry up and go. Sometimes I will forget to tell the waiter, oh, that table, this. Sometimes I mix up the number. Hey God. And when you mix up, you will be so embarrassed because once you mix up any detail, it is either they are going to give the person a wrong order, or something will just not go right. And that's on you because you caused it. Oh my God. If you are going to apply for any hospitality role, just know that you're going to stand. If you take an 8-hour shift, the highest amount of your break time would be 1 hour. Sometimes it's 30 minutes, and usually you won't take the entire 1 hour. You can take 1 hour, 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after, and your break is determined by your manager. Okay, sometimes your manager can say, oh, maybe you should take the break at the end of the shift, depending on the crowd, but just know that you're gonna stand. You're gonna stand. I've already talked about the fact that there may be little or no breaks. For instance, if anytime I took a 4 to 5 hour shift, I usually did not have any breaks, and that means you're going to work from the minute you enter until you are done. God bless you that you have a very understanding supervisor that maybe sometimes when it's not so busy can ask you to sit down and rest your legs for like 5 minutes. The supervisor just has to have a human face or human feeling to try to see when you are tired, and may say, oh, just go drink some water or just go rest your legs for 5 minutes and come back. Otherwise, you're gonna walk the walk. Now, I want to talk about uniforms, okay? It depends on the agency you work with, but usually they will always state uniform. Sometimes they'll say blue jean and white shirt. Other times they'll say black trouser, black work trouser, white shirt. There was a time they asked for tie. I wore black trouser, black shirt, and black tie. The things I have done in this life. Where did we go? What event was that? Was it an event? This particular restaurant, they always ask for black jacket, black. And After that day, that my first experience, whoa, because they also ask for shoes, and most times they will not allow you to wear flat shoes. They will say cut shoes, up to maybe low cut shoes like 3 inches. Ha! That period that I was working in hospitality, I probably bought like up to 5 shoes, because every time I'm looking for a comfortable shoe, because how comfortable you will be standing is also dependent on the kind of shoes you're wearing. If your shoe is tight or high, it's over for you. Sometimes I will go and look for a shoe with very high cushion that I'm going to be able to stand. Maybe there's foam inside. I shall bought shoe that period. So you have to know the kind of shoes you're wearing. You have to ensure that your outfit meets the requirements. Even if it does not meet completely, it's closely meets, because sometimes you could be returned if your uniform does not suit what they requested. You should take note of that. You see meal breaks. Now, when you're working in hospitality like restaurants or hotels, you're going to eat their food during break time, except you don't want. My people, it is whatever they are giving you that you collect and eat. If you don't like the food, that won't concern you. You will go outside and spend your money. But I think I always try to eat their food. Sometimes it could be pizza, depending on the restaurant. Pizza. I shall always try to eat though. I ate. I used to eat because I cannot come and be spending the small money that I'm earning in hours and now gonna start using to buy lunch. Some hotels would give their workers buffet with restricted menu, and then you can pick and choose. Other ones, they'll just give you like a particular meal to eat. They give everybody and you have to eat. Oh, you should take note of that, because apart from the official meal breaks, that's whenever you're going on breaks. For instance, if you're working for 4 hours, they may not give you food. Because you don't even have break. But if your shift is like between 6 and 8 hours, you have break, and you're working in a hotel or you're working in a restaurant, they will definitely give you food, the food that other staff are eating as well. So you have to make do with what is available. Otherwise, you will have to find yourself something to eat within that period. So be open-minded, because you're going to eat some things and you'll be asking yourself, what is this? Oh my God. Hey, God, oh, my people, listen and listen carefully. If you know that you don't know how to smile, hospitality is not for you. Why am I saying this? When you're doing a hospitality work, you have to be smiling. You have to be polite. You have to have customer service skills. You see the way I'm smiling like this? That's how I used to smile. Especially as a host or waiter. Any customer-facing role, you have to smile. Whether the customer is annoying or not, you just have to smile. So usually, God, these experiences are just bringing back memories. So I will start, because I did not like to take waiting roles, because first of all, I didn't really know the menus like that, because as a waiter, the clients, the customer will be asking you, oh, what is in this menu, what is used. I don't got that time for that, okay? And I did not have any waiting experience. They usually want people who have a bit of waiting experience. So I used to just take hostess. So I will stand by the door, and they will come in, and then you welcome them, take them to available table. You see that table numbering thing? Because I had to go to different restaurants at a time, their numberings are different. Some restaurants will number accordingly: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Others will number like this. Other ones, the number will be 10, 13, 15, and you'll be asking them, is it even number or odd number? They say it's both, but it's not just accordingly. So every time I go to a new restaurant, I have to learn their table numbering again. It wasn't easy. There were sometimes I will miss the table numbering, and I already told you guys the consequences of missing the table numbering. You would have to smile. You have to smile, because you're welcoming your customers. Now, hi, welcome. And they'll say, let's say the restaurant is ABC restaurant. Everybody that comes in, you say, hi, welcome to ABC restaurant. How are you today? It was during my time in the UK when I started doing hospitality, and I started learning customer service. Customer service, because as a lawyer, I did not really have client-facing experience. Most times it's official meeting, you don't have to be smiling on air now. Let's get to work. But in a customer service role like that, you have to smile. Hi, welcome. How are you today? You take them to a table. In fact, I will come to the fact that as a hospitality worker, I'll be prepared for anything. You see me that was hostess. When I go to some restaurant, they'll ask me to serve water on the table. When you sit a customer, you ask them, would you like fresh water or sparkling water? What kind of water? Would you like water with lemon? They'll tell you what kind of water they want, and you go and serve them. So they want you to be very fast, and you can literally do anything. Use your eyes and be observing what they are doing. In hospitality, restaurants and hotels, you see that their app that they use. What is that their app? I've forgotten the name. I'll probably look for the name. Something open. The restaurants and hotels, they use this app where, is it open book? Something where you would, when somebody comes, the app displays the sitting arrangement of the place. When somebody is seated there, you have to indicate that there's a customer there, if they order water and all of that. So there are some times that maybe everybody's so busy, and then a customer walks in and you have to sit them on a table. And if you sit them on a table, you have to enter it on the computer, and then maybe the receptionist is not there to enter. You have to be the one to enter it, because if you don't enter, you will forget, or you write it down, and when you come, the person will say, why didn't you enter it? You've been here for a while, couscous. Why don't you learn how to enter this thing? Ekukuma started learning how to operate the book, abi the software, because sometimes there's so many customers and few hands, and you cannot just be standing by the door smiling for nothing. You have to work. So I'll find myself having to check, oh, how do you operate this thing? Check, and sit, sign in the, book the seat. They have sat down. I have given them water. Omo, in essence, you have to learn fast, because they will expect you to know these things even when you don't know. And when you feel like you don't know, one thing about working with agencies is, when you are done with your shift, the employer will rate you. So when you're done, if you are not fast, if you are not flexible in your role, and you're not open to doing a lot more than you were even asked to do, when you are done with that shift, they might tell the agency that they don't want you ever again on their shift, or they might give you a very low rating. And once they give you a low rating, when there are similar roles, the agency will not show it to you as soon as possible. So they will show it to other people that have very good rating. I remember there were like two restaurants that always wanted me every time. So whenever there was a vacancy, it was me they wanted. So those restaurants will also indicate, and under the app, it will show that, oh, they are under your network. So one thing you should know about working in hospitality is that, I'm not going to say that there will be racism, but just get ready for all this subtle aggressive attitude, okay, especially as an international student. Okay, I remember one of those restaurants, I'll be there. I think it was an Italian restaurant. It was an Italian restaurant, and most of them speak Italian. Me, I didn't speak Italian, I just used to speak English. So that it was one of those days that it was really busy, right? And you have to do a lot of things, whether you're a host or whatever, you just have to do a lot of things. I remember they called to book in a reservation, and the receptionist, they called and all of that. And then the receptionist left to go do something. So the call came in, and I had to take the call. Hi, welcome to ABC Restaurant. How may I be of help to you? And then she's like, I want to speak to the lady that just, of course, because the accent will be different, right? They already know that this is not the person I spoke to. How may I be of help to you? Just state what you want. She said, no. I want to speak to the lady that just finished. I'm like, oh, she's not she's not available now, but I can take down your request, and then when she's available, I'll let her know. She said, no, 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 no. I need to speak to her. I'm like, so me, I'm not a human being. So you cannot speak to me. Why? Why can't you speak to me? Anyways, just know that you're gonna face things like that. Sometimes as a waiter, you may want to serve somebody, and they say, no, 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 I don't want you to serve me. Can I have another waiter? In those kind of things, you cannot frown, because you're in hospitality, you are customer care, you have to keep smiling, okay? But one thing I also noticed that, and I appreciated, was that at most workplaces, most employers will not allow customers to be rude to you. In fact, whenever a customer came in and seemed to be so troublesome and probably spoke rudely Anyways, this was in one particular restaurant. I don't know about others, okay, that I've not worked at. So when a particular customer came in and was trying to be so rude to the workers, they blacklisted that customer on their system, so that next time when the person calls to make a reservation, they'll say there's no maker, there's no, we are fully booked for today. Those are employers that really care about their employees, because you cannot come in and hurt the feelings of the employee, because it will be affecting their service. So that's it. Another thing that I can say is be open-minded, be very friendly, do not be quick to get angry at those places, because they will definitely annoy you. They will definitely annoy you. Let me not even talk about going to work in hotels. My people, I worked at events where you have to serve 3-course meals. You'll be very fast carrying food, like if any mistake the food will fall. Let me not talk about working by midnight shifts. After working for those shifts, you come back, you will not find bus. You have to either take Uber. Let me not talk about working in the cold. During winter, when you're working in hospitality during winter, you will be outside. I used to be cold. I will wear like 3 socks, 3 pop socks, 3 tights. I will wear jacket, because you also have to stick to the dress code. If the dress code says jacket, you cannot. If the dress code says corporate dress, you cannot now come and put a winter jacket on it. No. But when it's so cold, you have to adapt. My eye have seen something in this world. So these are the things that you should avert your mind to. It's not easy, but the thing is, when you know that you have to pay your bills, you have to do the work. You will come back so stressed, which is why, please try not to even work more than 20 hours, because you cannot be stressed like that. It's going to affect your studies. For me, the good thing was that it was only when I started my dissertation that I started doing hospitality work. When when the school was in active session, where I was attending lectures, doing assignments, I did not have the strength to do hospitality work. I did not have the strength. So, but when I started doing my dissertation, I started doing hospitality work, and my eyes so shaky. Anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comment section what has been your experience so far. I know that I could not have shared all the things that you have to know, because it is a whole lot. It is inexhaustible. It cannot be exhausted. So if you're watching this video and you've had similar experience, or you know somebody who have worked in hospitality, kindly share your experience in the comment section, so that other people can also learn. Because when we have this information, it helps us to anticipate what we are going to get, and then it also helps us to regulate our emotions and our mental capacity. It also helps us to build thick skin. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to know how to get part-time job as an international student, especially in the UK, I have a video that I mentioned all the websites and all the apps that you can get in order to get part-time jobs, especially those that used to pay very high. Me, because I knew that the hospitality work was very stressful, I used to get shifts that was very high, like £15 per hour, £14 per hour, like that, because that's the only way you can compensate for all the shit you're gonna take. If you watch this video to the end, then you will definitely like that video about the different websites to get part-time work as an international student. I'll see you in that video. Do want to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.